What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. Welcome to the breakdown. 693. Let's give him another round of applause, man. 693. Sponsored by Midnight. Midnight is live. Midnight is live. That's right. Midnight is live. I don't know what was going on. I was trying to get on here and I was having a hard time. Maybe it's because I'm extremely good looking today. Even more good looking than I was yesterday. It's crazy. This is absolutely insanity. Thank you for the DNA. Thank you, God. I love you. All right. Also sponsored by Polymarket. Polymarket is the official prediction market sponsor of the David Gokhshtein brand and also the breakdown. Cake Wallet is also the official sponsor of the breakdown, one of the most secure wallets on the goddamn planet in our industry. That's right. That's right. Also, we got People's Reserve. Shout out to People's Reserve. Shout out to CJ. CJ is going to be speaking at the Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas. So shout out to CJ and that entire crew. There you go. We got more people coming. I can't tell you. We got more people coming. I should be like Joe Biden today. Be like Joe Biden. I think I should do this whole show like this. I think I should do the entire show just like this. A fellow Americans, nah, you know what? I can be like Biden because that's crazy. Being like Biden, that's great. Hold on, let me. Okay. Anyway, welcome to the breakdown. Thank you very much for tuning in. Shout out to TikTok. Shout out to the moderators on TikTok. Okay. Shout out to Fran. Shout out to Tech. We're going to talk about tech. We're going to talk about AI. We'll try to stay away from yesterday's topic, which was about quantum computing. Because Landy was very mad yesterday. He didn't even show up. He didn't show up to some spaces yesterday. He was that angry. We'll have Landy on in a second. We will have Landy on in a second. I got to tell you, though, like, I've been... So, I've been on Twitter. I'm not trolling. Like, I really am not trolling on Twitter. Like, I am just responding to stupidity from some of these politicians and some of these influencers. And these liberals and Democrats continue to just, they have my notifications on now. They are following me to every single tweet, every fucking tweet that I make. They're like in, within a second's time, they're replying, "Oh, you support a PDF, and da-da-da." Shut your mouths. Get a job. God damn it, man. Y'all annoying as fuck. You dress up like Barney and you go and protest at No Kings and stuff. Like, what are you, who are you? I'm ready for today, man. I'm doing 2-a-days. I am doing 2-a-days until the summertime. I can see myself continue to doing 2-a-days, but I'm just saying I'm doing heavy lifting 2-a-days. I'm ready. I will punch you in your face. Ready. Type of ready. Okay? I'm ready for Trump's speech tonight. Half of you motherfuckers don't even know that we got a fucking rocket that's going to go around the goddamn moon. I want this rocket. I want to be on this rocket. I want this rocket to drop me off on the moon. Pick me up in 2028, 29, whenever that other rocket's supposed to land on the goddamn moon. I don't even want to be around some of you motherfuckers. Anyway, let's bring in Landy. I'm on one today. You better be careful. I'm on one today. Landy, good morning to you, or good morning to you. How is it going?
Good morning. It's going good. You know, just watching price action this morning. Wrapped up a few really good meetings this morning as well. So, yeah, Things are good.
What kind of meetings?
Actually can't disclose those,
So
but
what
they
the
were
fuck you
good.
saying it for though?
They were good. Well, because I've been up for a very long time, and
Okay.
I am
Hey, hey,
got to watch
hey! Somebody
markets
clip
open.
that. Somebody
Um,
clip that right now.
hey, I've been pretty busy the past couple of weeks, so behind the scenes, the puppet's been putting in work.
I
But
just a puppet. I want everybody to know. You heard what he just said, right? He was in the chat yesterday telling everybody to clip something that I said yesterday. So clip that
yep,
shit and put that everywhere.
yeah, uh-huh,
The
uh-huh.
little puppet's a
It's
freak.
not nearly as bad as what you said yesterday. So you're not gonna weasel out of that one, by the way. I didn't see any clips come in, so I actually clipped it myself. I'm just waiting for the right moment to release that clip. So
All
yeah,
right.
that's it's gonna be good. Also, I wanted to note while you were talking just a moment ago, uh, like 99.99% of the audience has no idea who Barney is anymore. So we I understand the reference. You obviously made the reference, which makes us old. All right.
Okay.
We're old now.
I'm just saying. Yeah, but I didn't know Barney was a freak. Okay, growing up watching Barney, I didn't know he was a freak. I'm just putting it out there. But like people are all these people that went to the No Kings, protests and stuff, and all. I love how Bernie Sanders said 8 million people came out to go ahead. 8 million people are fucking paid to come out there and talk about. Did you see these freaks? Did you see
Well,
these freaks talking about No Kings? These
a lot of
goddamn
the
freaks.
videos that I kept seeing weren't even recent videos. So I don't know. There's an awful lot of astroturfing for that particular event, which is literally protesting kings and billionaires, when the entire event was sponsored nationwide by a bunch of billionaires, and we don't
It's
have a
well,
king. So
you're gonna tell me. Here's how you know it was paid, right? You're gonna tell me like people just came out of their apartments and all of a sudden they knew dance routines and they had like the songs ready on spot, like dancing in outfits that looked ridiculous. Like you're gonna tell me like none of this was like set up by really powerful people. Like you got to be dumb as fuck. Like you really have that TDS hardcore to believe people just came out and all of a sudden they knew exactly what they needed to do. Man, honestly though, Landy, I was thinking about it. I'm trying to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible, right? I'm trying to, or some other assets that I like.
yeah.
I'm thinking about it. I'm down to go to a No Kings protest. Pay me. I'll dress up like fucking Elmo.
Oh man. Look,
Oscar the
uh,
Grouch. You know what I'm saying?
somebody said in chat, you really think that millions of people are paid? Um, yeah, yeah. Actually, it's been pretty well proven out through from the actual billionaires that have given the millions of dollars in funding all the way through to the organizations that set all of this stuff up. Maybe, maybe not everybody there is paid, but the majority of the organizers are paid. All of the different signs and everything is always ready to go. It's not, this is not, there's no real arguing with it. And it's been proven a few times if you follow the money for who sponsors and backs these things. So, I mean, they're literally sponsored, so it's it's not actually that difficult to understand what is going on when you
Think
manufacture
otherwise, you're
garbage like that.
honestly you got brain damage to think otherwise. I'm being
Yeah,
serious. If you got a lot of brain damage to think otherwise. All right. Uh looks like looks like people are interested in knowing about what's happening in the markets. Tonight, by the way, do me a favor. Um, tune in at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to catch Landy do the market update, breaking down obviously the markets, the macro, and all that good stuff. But he's ready to break down the markets here, and you should go ahead and get a pen and paper And you should take this seriously because a lot of you guys, I've seen your tweets. I've seen the tweets on your profiles. You absolutely work at fucking. Okay. David, you got to be good today. You got to be good today. See, I got to talk to myself. I got to be good today. But a lot of you guys do work at IHOP, okay? A lot of you guys, and there's nothing wrong with working at IHOP. There's nothing wrong with working at IHOP. It's just like, I'm just saying you can level up your game. Landy, are we going to the charts?
Yeah, I think we should get into it. Bitcoin, did hit our $65,000 downside target after breaking back into a tighter range here. Something that I've been talking about since we broke out of the top side here, above the 72 to 72.2 top side of the range, which is really just an area between around 70,000 to 72. You can call it just for um, ease of identifying the top side of the zone here. Here on spot for Coinbase, it is 70,500 to 72.2. And after breaking back in and finding this area as resistance, I mentioned that if we did find it as resistance, we're very likely looking at this running right back to support between around 65 and 62.5. That is it's still a downtrend on the daily here. So the downside targets still are going to be around initially the $65,000 if we put in another lower high to the 62.5. And my bands are lining up there as well. And they have continued to line up kind of right there since approaching this area. And then it's only really if it drops the 62.5 zone that I'd be looking lower 58 to 60. Right now, we do have a lower low set, and Bitcoin is working its way back towards 69K. If we do see it start to trade above around $70,000, I would look to 72. If we start to see a breakout above there, I'd look right back to the overhead area or swing structure just above here between around that 72 to 74 and just take it $2,000 at a time, 74 to 76, and then 76 to 78. And then we have a larger area, of course, that Bitcoin is trying to hold support before moving down here between 78 to 80. And that's going to be the key bearish retest zone. But if it is recovered, I'd be looking mid to low 80s from there. And there is a good setup here if the lows maintain, right? If we do see a trend shift on the daily, that's going to come in above 72K, which is the top side of the range. That would break the downtrend. And then, we're looking higher low, equal low structure from there in order to form an uptrend with the possibility if it didn't already try to hit, above 72, if it does do a downtrend break above there, the 74 to 76, 78 to 80 area. Even if it just did a trend break and try to come back down, I'd be looking for some higher low, equal low structure within this tighter consolidation down here. One of the big things that I would be paying attention to, and I explicitly have been talking about for a couple of weeks since the start of the Middle East conflict, is watch the oil markets, watch Dixie. Now, oil markets, obviously, oil has been rising, but relative to overseas oil markets, relative to the American oil markets or crude oil spot prices, we have seen a fracturing in the markets. But I think it's very important that people understand that you should be watching WTI as it relates to Dixie. And Dixie is just the US dollar versus a basket of currencies. And I've been talking about oil moving to some of the key areas back towards the highs on, after we saw oil spike a major area between 115 and 130. I had mentioned after the big sell-off, even prior, right at the beginning of the conflict, I talked a little bit about above 90 to 95 being a key area to watch the main overhead resistance around 115 to 130. We hit it all in one go in one day, and then came right back down to between 74 and 76, depending on futures or spot for WTI crude. And then, back above 90 to 95, I was looking for this area to kind of get filled out, 98 to 102. Above there, 105 to 110. We saw a nice higher low come in at 84 to $85. We saw a recovery back above 95, and then a move back to even on that Friday candle, we saw a move back to the 98 to 102, and then we made a move for that 105 to 110 area with a spike into it at 106.86 here. Now, this is going to be the new area that needs to hold to prevent kind of falling further, but between 102 and this 98 here, if this does hold up, or even between 90 and 95, just be aware of the new highs here. The close at 105 to the high at 106.86. If we see it break back above there, I'd be looking for a retest of this macro overhead resistance between 115 and 130. But if we do see 90 break down, so 90 to 95 not hold up as support, watch the last higher low around $84 to $86 a barrel. If that is lost, we're going to see probably a pretty quick move to 75 to 80 bucks. And then if that low breaks, we're looking right back towards a macro support area, 68 to 72. Why have I been talking about oil and why you should be watching it? Well, because if oil rises, Dixie gains strength. And if we see a stronger dollar, we're typically seeing markets move to the downside. And one of the things that we have seen with oil getting a red close yesterday, and then subsequently some follow through with today's candle, is that the dollar index, or Dixie here, is looking to break back down. So we had two swings above a major area of resistance here at around $100.40, and then any kind of a breakdown below there, back below around 99.50 to 99.60. I would be looking for the upper $98 to $99 region, which is the last higher low. And if this starts to break down, that means that we're likely seeing some pressure off the downside in traditional markets. So yesterday, subsequently, dollar weakened a bit. We saw that markets recovered some very key areas for traditional markets after getting some big downside moves. So we hit target on one of the, we had a major weekly level, which was actually reclaimed pretty quickly, but we need to see it as support, not just on a daily, maybe even longer term timeframes. But we hit 45K, and we're going for a potential downtrend break here in Dow. And I'll even take off the bands here. We don't necessarily need those right now. But in terms of pure candle structure here on the daily, we hit a major area below a very key macro weekly level at 45K for the Dow, and the last lower high at around this 46.7 to 46.8 has now been tested right into a weekly zone just above it. It's a shorter term daily weekly zone. We need to see this area closed above to break this downtrend on Dow, and then all we have to do is look back to the actual lows for them to hold in higher low, equal low fashion to start seeing a possible trend shift on the daily. Doesn't do much until we see substantial areas overhead recovered. But, you know, it is starting to look like if it can close here or higher today, we'll get that daily downtrend break, meaning that there is the possibility that we could be looking at a trend shift. We've got NASDAQ hit a major area in the lower 22.5 region and closed right on 23, which is one of the key areas that I was looking for. It needs to recover the weeklies around, or the weekly around 24 to 24.2 to actually have a chance at breaking the downtrend at 24,465 or 24.5 here. Closes above there, just like closes above on Dow, would break that daily downtrend and then set up the possibility for a trend reversal back into an uptrend. Doesn't mean that it's an inherent conclusion after breaking the downtrend, but it would at least provide for a setup. If it does break the downtrend there at 24.5 or so, 24.4.5 to 24.5 or 24.5, then I would be looking for, this to come back down and try to at least attempt to form a higher low or equal low to set up a reversal for NASDAQ. And then SPY hit a major area I was talking about around the 630 range. It did hit 629.28. And again, this is another one. Unlike Dow, SPY and NASDAQ have not broken or even attempted to break their last lower highs just yet here on the daily. Last lower high to break this downtrend would be at 662. Now, I am talking about on a close. We need to see closes above there. And then, of course, recovering the weekly is going to be good between around that 647 to 657, that 10-point region. But if we do see a downtrend break, or even a lower high, just pay attention to the last lows, looking for a potential higher lower equal low setup. I'd rather see the lower high broken, like on Dow, on a close to get the downtrend break and then get the setup. But I wouldn't rule out the possibility of seeing a setup start to develop soon where we see higher lower equal low structure in traditional markets as it relates to the trend. You do want to see downtrends typically first, but doesn't always happen in that way. That's like the ideal setup. But in this case, we could be staring at trend shifts if we do start to see that. But it is just the daily. There's a lot of areas to recover for markets. And realistically, the shortcut is pay attention to oil. In this case, WTI crude. It is trading at a discount versus Brent and Dubai oil for obvious reasons. The United States is the world's largest producer of oil and of liquefied natural gas. One of the things that I would be keeping an eye out for is, if it does continue the downside, we will get relief in markets because we will see Dixie come with it to the downside. We will see relief, but until we see an actual structure change on oil, meaning the uptrending structure being broken, I wouldn't get too excited about, hey, this is maybe starting to get towards the end of some of these downtrending moves for markets. Your first sign is really going to be when we see this uptrending structure on oil break. And that subsequently would break the uptrending structure on Dixie as well, provide some relief to markets. We likely see that follow through to, the cryptocurrency markets like Bitcoin and all the majors, and see some nice pops there as liquidity starts to flow back in. The other thing that I would watch is, in particular with crypto markets, is there is a trade to be had from the perspective of liquidity rotation back into gold and silver. Just watch it carefully because gold and silver are reclaiming some areas, big downtrends, hit some of the major downside support areas that I've been talking about and swept them as well. Just watch them closely if, for potential rotation, even grabbing back onto 75 and breaking the downtrend on silver. Just pay close attention to that. In terms of, hey, if we get relief in oil, we see Dixie heading down, we see strength coming back to markets, maybe even breaking downtrending structure for traditional markets. If we aren't catching the bids in the risk assets, because even though you hear some of these major players in the game talk about Bitcoin as a store of value and tokenize everything and all this kind of stuff, cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, are still treated as risk assets by the market. So if you're not seeing strength come back in, but we are seeing strength start to show itself in traditional markets, we're not seeing it come back to cryptocurrencies, check on gold and silver, as they might try to hoover up liquidity for some of the inside range trading that they're starting to get back into. So just something to pay attention to. The other thing is we're going to see likely natural gas. I would keep a close eye on natural gas. One of the reasons why is, we're going to start exiting that winter into spring period. So natural gas could continue to head down here in the United States. And we're probably the thing that might buoy it off the lows is there's a lot of countries that are starting to look to the United States for liquefied natural gas, which could increase exports, which could hold price up at the lows around the 280 to 250 region if it does fall a little bit further here. But we shall see. Big thing to do is watch oil. Where oil goes, if it goes up, probably going to see markets head back down. If we see it head down and especially get a trend break to the downside, markets probably try their recovery. back to the upside, and that would provide for some nice price action to the upside for cryptocurrencies. I think that would push things back to the top side of the range and the highs if we get continuation down in oil.
There you go. Breaking down oil. And a lot of people, I had a few people ask me, like, Dave, if the United States of America produces the most oil on the goddamn planet, why are we paying for oil from other countries? And why are the gas prices high?
Well,
And I had to
we're a net
explain it real
exporter.
quick to them.
We're a net exporter, but there are some
Yeah,
states that are stupid, like California, and decide to import oil instead of produce enough oil um, for themselves in other states. But
there's just
there, there,
a lot of our refineries take on heavy oil. We got
yes, sour
we
crude.
got really good oil. We're making money from both ends, by the way. So like when we sell our oil, when we export it, we're making money, and when we import oil, we're getting it for basically
Refining it.
nothing. It's cheap. So
Well, it's like Canada. Canada doesn't have the refining capacity
correct,
for a lot of the oil that they have. So what we end up doing is we will import their oil and then we refine it and export it back to them.
correct.
Um, and then, of course, you have the infrastructure that's being built out or being rebuilt and rebooted down in Venezuela. But then
Yeah,
now you have Venezuelan tankers showing up in the Gulf of America, um, which it has officially been renamed, by the way, for those in the audience. You even if you don't like it, too bad. Um, but we can there's American companies that are helping with the extraction refining build out and infrastructure build out and a lot of maintenance that needed to happen. A lot of people don't even know this, but it was American companies that helped build out that infrastructure there in Venezuela. And now they're doing deals to send, you know, oil to us that we buy cheaper and then refine
well,
and then
we have the
export.
refineries to go ahead and
Yeah,
uh, take on Venezuelan oil. Others don't. So and with the
yeah.
oil that we get, the shit that we drill, we really don't have the refineries. We don't have the refineries for them. That's why we sell them elsewhere and we make money on it.
Well,
At,
a lot
at
of
some point, we'll get it. This all happened under Nixon, right? When the whole when OPEC decided to go ahead and
yeah.
to
Well,
put sanctions
Nixon.
on our asses, because who were we dealing with? That hold on, yeah, it was because of Israel. Yeah,
Well, the big thing with OPEC and just the United States in general, and the big shift, I think, this is irrespective of politics or people's opinions. The shift is that what the United States has been doing for many, many years, since the 70s all the way through the 80s into the 90s is really when it hit speed. Is hollowing out and exporting the manufacturing process for energy and production capacity for goods, right? So we're talking, energy in this case. We outsourced a lot of, energy to the Gulf states, right?
yeah.
And then we imported energy instead of producing it. It's the same thing that happened as the United States became like the middle management class and got out of production by exporting a lot of production capacity over to China. And what we're seeing now
But the whole
is we're
thing is
seeing
like
a move
we
back.
don't care about even though energy is essentially calculated globally and shit, but we really don't need when Trump says like, yo guys, go get your oil because we can care less. You can either like Trump has
Yeah.
you got to put this in perspective. Trump is the ultimate businessman. He said you can either buy oil from us or you can go send your ships to try to get oil.
Well, he knows that they don't have it. They don't have
Oh
the
my God,
capacities
I'm
to
just
to
like,
go
yo,
straight.
how can,
But
even if you hate Trump, you got to go ahead and, as a business person, just say, you know what?
oh, it's
This
ruthless. I love
motherfucker is
it.
good.
I love it. It's ruthless. But one of my key points that I wanted to make about that is that we were an energy consumer and an energy importer, net consumer. right, of energy that was produced here domestically. Therefore, we were importing from the Middle Eastern countries, which is why we've had, the quote unquote oil wars.
Yeah.
Whether you're looking at Desert Storm or you're looking at GWAT, we were out there in protecting our interests in the area in which those interests were predominantly revolved around oil. Even though Trump brings up the oil, the funny thing is we don't need it. We are the world's top producer and we're increasing exponentially the production rate capacity of the United States itself. And that's not even talking about the deals that are being done with other countries like Venezuela and
Yeah.
elsewhere, even in South America, and likely going to get done with Canada because Canada doesn't really have a choice. Because we will see some more energy deals there. They've been happening quietly in the background regarding their sour crude, but point being is this is a major shift, and this is one of the first shifts that Trump did as soon as he got back into office. Was he signed that executive order to unleash American energy essentially through the taking kind of the reins off of oil and liquefied natural gas production, as
Yeah.
well as nuclear and other ways, right? So if you're going to rebuild a manufacturing base, what do you need to power it? Well, you need the energy to power it. And we produce that energy, and we are a net exporter of energy, not a net consumer of energy. So it's a massive shift for the United States. And one of the things I think that people didn't really understand, and that you and I talked about right at the very beginning of this conflict, is that I had mentioned right away, as soon as this conflict started, that we would see one, beware of the macro overhead resistances for oil, especially on WTI 115 to 130, right? I called that out and I said, we need to pay attention to this. And then I mentioned specifically that because the United States is the world's number one producer of oil and liquefied natural gas, we will see this remain largely a regional problem, meaning for Asian countries and Europe specifically, and of course, the Gulf nations trying to get things out. Um, because what will happen is we will see prices spike, and that will have a network effect on prices globally. But we will see, because the United States is the number one producer, we will likely see a fracturing in markets, meaning that it will have a network effect. We're not going to see oil push up at the same time like we have in the past across the board with very little arbitrage opportunity in markets. Well, now we have that. It did fracture, and it's all because, unlike in prior instances, which were very different reasons why the United States was dealing in that region, when it related to oil, is that we were reliant on that region for that energy, and we are no longer reliant on that region for energy. And in fact, there are deals being done, like we saw, was it last week, with like Japan. There's deals being worked out with South Korea. There's deals that are being floated out there for even a lot of these European nations now considering, like, well, hey, we've got a single point of failure. Maybe we should reverse course on all this Green New Deal crap that we were trying to push on our population and getting rid of all of our energy infrastructure and production capacity. Maybe we start doing deals to diversify. And whether that's going to be the United States, Russia, or whoever else, really doesn't matter. It proves out a point that the United States can actually survive without the need of use of this area, but there are many of these nations that cannot. So things have to change. And I think that this is going to force change on a global stage, regardless of whatever rhetoric is out there, and whoever thinks that they're going to be right about what's happening. All you got to do is look at the way in which energy is being produced and used and who needs it. And at the end of the day, I think that this starts to force hands. I think that we're going to start wrapping this conflict up fairly soon. I think it's going to force European nations, NATO nations, EU nations to actually start to reconsider how they are doing business when it comes to energy. We're seeing that in Asian nations. I think this is also going to include more pressure on Ukraine and Russia to settle that conflict. And I think that headed into next month, we see a different type of a deal that we haven't seen before out of the United States and China meetings, especially considering what Scott Bessent is proposing or preparing for the Chinese delegation. So there's a lot of things happening, and I think what a lot of people don't understand is they have the old world view of how things have been when the world around us is changing very quickly in terms of power structure, in terms of money, and during these types of shifts, you either pay attention to what's happening, because when things aren't happening that aren't our system has seen before, then you need to understand that we are in a changing world and it is not going to act the same as it has prior. So right now, the easiest way to pick that out is look at oil. And if you're going to look at liquefied natural gas, look at global pricing. And if you want to know if a deal is going to start getting done for US LNG, you'll likely see US LNG spike temporarily. And then you'll hear about it in the news later.
Welcome to the breakdown, episode 693, sponsored by Midnight, title sponsor. We're here with Landy. Landy's breaking down. Oil is everything, man. The Dixie and oil, man. Landy's right, man. You got to watch this shit. What about Bitcoin? What are we watching there?
I mean, for Bitcoin, it's really just about, this is a downtrend, so we need to see 72,000 break to break the downtrend. And or we need to see the lows hold at 65 to put in a higher low. You know, we've been tracking these targets like little by little, right down to, you know, essentially almost $1 here, right? 64,938 is what needs to hold to set a higher low. But right now, this is just a downtrending move with an upside move to mean revert back to a mean or basis band within the top side of this this range. Realistically, above 70, you can start looking towards 72 as a potential area we need to see closes above to break the downtrend. And then you just need to see 65 hold. As long as 65 is holding, it has a chance to put in higher low, equal low structure and potentially try to change trend back to the upside. So 65, watch it. You want to see closes above there, or maintained above there from here on this particular move. If it does head back down, if it continues to head up, you'd like to see $72,000 break to break the downtrend.
What else are you watching in this market that's interesting? Obviously, we talk about oil. We talk about the Dixie. We talk about Bitcoin all the time. What else is out there that you're interested in? So from the altcoin perspective, and I get it, you're a Bitcoiner. I'm just saying in general, what's out there that's really interesting for you?
I mean, I regularly trade Ethereum. So what's interesting to me is that it's the exact, and there's the reason why I don't even bring these up is because this looks exactly like Bitcoin. The last lower high for Ethereum, for instance, is going to be at 2,200. You need to see that break. That's also the exact top side of the range here, right? So you see 2,200 break. Green means go. We're going to test, you know, somewhere around the between 22 and 24 at minimum. We need to see 24 break to go and test 26, right? So these are all going to be very, very key areas. And now it's just about holding, you know, 1940 to the downside. So there's, you know, and I'm in various crypto trades on a pretty regular basis, but usually the majors, right? And that's where the liquidity is at. For things like Solana, I've been paying attention to in this bright red zone, which isn't actually very bright red, but it is the red line here. We had a giant swing outside of it. This is a macro zone of interest, by the way, and you can see that it closed inside of it through a giant wick down to around $67.50, $68, depending on your exchange. But the big thing here is maintaining closes above 78 to 80. And then working its way back above 90 to go and test, you know, 93.5 here. That's the last lower high. So 78 to 80 need to see hold from here right now, because we, you know, this is just a low being set. Need to see close above 93.50. Then we can start looking back towards 100 to 103. You know, maybe even, 105 on a swing above the overhead area, and then we can start looking back to 110 if it starts to break it. But, this is a major area of interest for like Solana. So, I've been trading off the low side of the range. And then I've been a quick seller around like the 90 to 90, $92 region myself, even though it did head up to around 96 and try to go for that 98. I think it even hit 98 on some exchanges.
Yeah.
But in reality, I'm just watching the downside area of interest here around 78 to 80 for Solana. You know, I trade the majors. I don't look too much in, past that. I'll go on, and if there's like a narrative regarding some sort of a meme coin that's starting to pick up steam again, I will take a look. The other thing that I like to actually trade, and I know it's not,
Real quick before you go into
yeah,
that, I want to ask you this question: Does is Solana the Solana crack its all-time high? And I say this because a lot of people believe, and I'm sure I'll get your comment here, that Solana is alive today because of Pump.Fun.
well, I would
So
argue that that was the case, but they've been diversifying into stock
correct.
tokens
Then
and
and I'm
RWAs.
not going to push that aside. I'm just saying Pum.Fun really propelled Solana, correct? I mean, if you sit back and you
In
think
terms
about it,
of having the liquidity flows, yes,
yeah.
it absolutely did. It was a major factor in
Now,
the run to a new all-time high.
obviously, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. I don't think I am, but I feel like even though they are bringing in really good revenue every month, Pump.Fun, I don't think it's the same type of revenue that they've been bringing in. Um, let's say for the last year or two. So does is Pump.Fun critical to Solana's success?
I think that for narrative purposes in the nearer term, I think that Pump.Fun is going to be where you're going to see a lot of the activity for liquidity, and then you'll see that boot up the rest of the ecosystem. So I think that it does play a key role. If it's not having success in launches and bonding, then you'll probably see liquidity be very thin across the rest of the network. And I think that it would be the first mover. People like to launch garbage and invest in garbage right away in the hopes of becoming multimillionaires with very low amounts of money, right? So,
Yeah.
but the reality is that um, those that are building on Solana and the team itself understand that they can't just survive off of the casino style mentality of chasing the next ticker, right? That's not a long term solution in terms of sustainability or being a sustainable network, and that they need to have these other deals and encourage the building of other products. A lot of people, and I've talked to you about this even at the time, a lot of people didn't even know that there was really robust and really good DeFi ecosystems on Solana at the time. But
Yeah.
now people are aware of them. And, the next big wave, I think, is going to be cross platform launches that probably pick Solana first for stock tokens in terms of the token issuance and the bulk of liquidity. Now, the reason why I say that stock tokens or RWAs likely going to launch on Solana first is because we're already starting to see that even though they're cross network, the primary focus is on Solana because that's where the bulk of liquidity is still, where there's a lot of active trading going on.
Yeah.
And then they fill out those liquidity pools first before even if they have that bridge over to Ethereum or other networks, they aren't providing as much liquidity on the ETH side because they're farming the liquidity on the Solana side for those things. And this is where I think that what you'll see as the first signs is that, you'll see a lot of, bonded tokens coming out of Pump Fund, right? And I think that that's going to be the first sign as meme coins start to move. And I think that that's going to occur once Bitcoin does set its macro low and begin to change structure, or if it gets a structural change on the weekly. I think you see a run to really hoover up all of the lowest cap stuff that can possibly happen. A lot of launches happening, and I think that a lot of that's going to occur on Solana. But I think over the course of the next, now we're in a bear market right now. So over the course of the next, bull market and bear market to bull market transition, I think that you're going to hear a lot more of a focus on the actual value side of things through things like RWAs and stock tokens. I think because they need that at least mind share diversification, because Solana just became a casino at a
Yeah,
certain point. And literally there was also just casinos launching on it in
exactly.
addition to everything else.
Well, I think Solana's done. I think my thing is, like, I give credit where credit is due, and I think that Solana has done a good job um, trying to pivot away, and it's going to be hard, but they're trying to pivot away and become a serious protocol. And some people might take offense to that. Some Solana maxis will, but uh, I'm just calling it as it is. Everybody sees Solana as the meme casino. Um, but they built pretty cool things, like, or things have been built on it that's pretty cool, like Phantom. Phantom wallet is great. I think it's a very easy wallet to use for them, and it onboards people. It's easier to onboard people with that wallet.
Look,
And
I'm over here wearing a Bitcoin crown,
uh,
and I agree with you.
I'm calling for what it is. Listen, you want secure, and I'm not saying that Phantom isn't secure, and I'm not just saying this because Cake Wallet is a sponsor, but I love Cake Wallet. I love what Vic has been doing for the longest time. He's been in the space a long time building
Yeah,
Cake Wallet out.
Cakewall has been around for a very long time. One
I,
of the
I respect it. I call it for what it is. Cake Wallet, MetaMask. I think MetaMask has done a great job also with upping their game. I just, like, with them, I see Solana pivoting. It's gonna be they're gonna have that hard. It's gonna be a hard time for them for a little bit. But if everything comes into play, like, listen, the institutional boys are talking about Solana, talking about building on it. Scaramucci was on
That's why
here.
it's going to change.
Yeah,
That's the whole reason, right? That's
yeah,
why it's going to change, because
yeah.
you have institutional investors that are coming in, um, and I think the next big run that we have into a bull market structure um, is going to deal a lot with where is stablecoin liquidity going, which major player is tokenizing equities, either RWA or stock tokens, and where is that liquidity? Because they're going to provide liquidity across various networks, but when you see that, you pointed this out, one of the things that Solana and the developers there have done really well across the various platforms and projects that have been built is they've made it very easy to use. Crypto has been notoriously difficult to use, and there's a lot of front-facing product out there that works on Solana from the wallet side and platform side, um, that
And you know what?
makes it easy.
Not to break you up here, it's just like Solana won. What I mean by that is Ethereum. It's funny. Ethereum obviously first to market, and it claimed the meme economy, and people built memes on Ethereum. And then you had all these other networks or protocols that try to do the same. You had BNB, which they were successful. BNB was successful with it, but they couldn't claim the market share for it. You had Tron try to do it; they couldn't do it. You had a lot of protocols that attempted to do this. Solana won in terms of, like, if there is a competitor to Ethereum when it comes to memes, Solana is that. And, like, I mean, if the problem was with the Ethereum Foundation, if they do not understand what they have in their hands, they're going to lose that entire market, and Solana will be the place where people go to meme. I know right now people might be watching in their Bitcoin. I know I got Bitcoiners that tune in, and they're probably rolling their eyes. Let me say this to you guys. We need memes. It's okay to have, I'm not talking about tickers. I'm talking about memes. We need them. They're beneficial. By the way, How many people came into Bitcoin from Roaring Kitty? AMC was not worth what it was worth. GameStop was not what it was. That shit, those things were memes. And then obviously, like I always say, people went and jumped into Dogecoin and Shiba Inu, but they made their way to Bitcoin. So it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. Like I will take on this argument with any Bitcoin maxi any day of the week. Any day of the week. All this does is benefit, and from all sides. If people get screwed over, right? If people can't just win in the fucking meme economy, they're gonna say, "Fuck this! I'm just going the safe route. I'm going with Bitcoin." There's a lot of things I can lay out for you right now.
Well, the big thing to understand is that crypto is fundamentally changing, having all of these participants from traditional markets entering the game in earnest, right? Not just through VCs and funding and playing around and experimenting via VC arms of companies that are under their umbrellas, but they're actually coming in to utilize crypto in a very specific way, right? And the next big phase is going to be providing liquidity. We've had massive liquidity problems in crypto, right? You have liquidity spread across various centralized exchanges, decentralized exchanges, all over the place, depending on the pairs. And that's one of the reasons why you get, aggregation of traders on specific exchanges or specific dexes is because of the liquidity. And one of the biggest things that needs to happen in this space is a ton of issued liquidity to pair with tokenized assets from the stock market, right? So RWAs and stock tokens need to have that liquidity, and the winner in this next big, bull market, once we exit the bear, is going to be who's issuing liquidity and where, right? Are they going to be issuing that liquidity and providing that liquidity on Solana and Ethereum? Probably a safe bet that they will. Now it's going to be about who issues the largest amount of liquidity on those particular protocols. So and
Landy,
what kind of liquidity are they providing?
I gotta answer this guy Satoshi I can't even believe you're using the name. Okay, that's number one. Disrespect right there. Okay, disrespect. No, we don't. Yes, we do. I'm a Bitcoiner. Okay, I am a Bitcoiner. Am I a maxi? No, because I believe that we can have a thriving crypto ecosystem. If you want Bitcoin isn't on another planet. Bitcoin isn't on another planet, but Bitcoin will help open the doors for the crypto industry. So number one, to say that memes can be a part of the ecosystem is crazy. I'm talking about real memes. I'm not talking about this dog shit that's created every second. I don't know how many. By the way, you need to have people use crypto. Here's the biggest challenge that we have. In America, people aren't using their crypto. You have people, Landy, do you spend your Bitcoin?
Do I spend it? No, but I do use it. There's a difference.
You're
not spending.
You're trying to hoard it, not spend it, correct?
Yes, but I
Okay.
do use it as collateral when needed, either on paper contracts through traditional means, or I utilize it through DeFi infrastructure. But no, I'm not. I'm not in the game to spend my Bitcoin. I'm in the game to leverage it. And then what I do is I use other cryptos by selling them in most cases, or trading them in order to get more Bitcoin.
So basically, what I heard is I don't use cryptocurrency. What I meant by that is you're not going to Costco or BJ's or Sam's Club
No,
and using
no.
Bitcoin. Okay. We need, so like when Doge came out, right? This was my argument on national TV. When Dogecoin came out, right? AMC said you can use Dogecoin to buy a ticket. You can use Dogecoin to get popcorn. Like you can use Dogecoin to get anything you want by going to an AMC theater. Here's a meme that's allowing you to use cryptocurrency. It's that simple. Like you now you have people that are using crypto, they're getting a feel for it, and now they really enter the market, and then they start to understand, I need Bitcoin. And most people did that. Most people who entered through memes, and I'm talking about the real meme economy. I'm not talking about the shit that's happening right now. I'm talking about when they went into Dogecoin, because Dogecoin was right out there, front and center. Everybody was reporting on it. Forbes, Bloomberg, Fox, CNBC, they were all out there talking about Dogecoin. People were getting it and they were using it. They were using it. So you had dealerships. You had automotive dealerships that were accepting Dogecoin
Yeah.
for you to go and buy a vehicle. That's what you want, right? That's what cryptocurrency is.
Here's what's actually going to happen, in my personal opinion, though, is that people aren't going to be using these network coins in order to transact in crypto. They're going to be using stable coins to transact.
Okay, that's now.
Which helps the entire industry, because the more liquidity and stables that we have, the more is going to go back into speculating on either network-based tokens or meme tokens. And that will, cause a massive rise in markets in terms of price action. But in terms of the use case, they're going to use stables. I mean, that's exactly what they're all going to use.
I don't disagree with it. Stable coins, obviously. But I was pinked in the picture from yesteryear, because like nobody was, I don't want to say nobody was using Tether, but when you have incentive, right? When people were discounting certain items, if you used a certain token to make a purchase, like Slim Jim and Axe body spray, which is, I'm sorry, Axe, but like even if you were offering me $1 million sponsorship, I still would say the same thing I'm gonna say right now. Axe body spray, that shit is like fucking more potent than any chemical weapon that has ever been created on this goddamn planet. Axe body spray and Slim Jim, they sent me special products where it was a limited edition Axe body spray and also Slim Jim, the Dogecoin edition. So they were using our assets to market. More companies will do that. More companies will take one of these memes, knowing that there is a thriving community, and use it. Even Bitcoin. You're going to see some limited edition when we come back to this bull run. You're going to see some limited edition. I don't fucking know. Let's say hypothetically, you'll see a limited edition Bitcoin fucking out. It's no more. It's not out no more.
Well, we have Bitcoin is the one that's being used as in advertisements for earning Bitcoin rewards and different, cashback options. But I don't know about productization.
No, but I'm talking about Fortune 500 companies. Forget about the companies that I'm talking about companies that want to bring light to their products. Slim Jim and fucking Axe body spray did that with Doge. I'm trying to point out that you're gonna have Fortune 500 companies that will use this towards their benefit because it's free marketing.
Yeah.
So let's say if they say, hey, if you use your Bitcoin, you'll get a discount of 50. Let's say Hugo Boss comes out and says, if you use Bitcoin, you get a 15% discount. Right?
Yeah.
A lot of people won't use Bitcoin to get that 15% discount. But let's say they say, you know what?
You'd see people trading into Bitcoin just to use that. Like they would trade in their stable to get Bitcoin, then to use that for the 15% discount. But it's not, they wouldn't be hodlers or anything like that.
Correct.
But yeah, no, they would definitely be using it.
My whole thing is that the younger culture is all about memes. So there's nothing wrong if these Fortune 500 companies. Look, VanEck has a meme index. I don't know what more I can say.
Yes. Well,
Like,
I mean,
they're selling a product. We understand
they're
everything
selling a
they're doing.
packaged product of memes.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's understandable, but it they have some really good clients, right? Word spreads. Fortune 500 companies, they say, okay, how do we bring in more of the younger generation into the mix, right? They start putting out, I don't know, they pick a meme and they put it out there. And they just say, hey, you get a 10 to 15, 20% discount by using XYZ. That benefits crypto. That benefits Bitcoin big time. And people might say, oh, but it's little, but I'll take little. I'll take 5%. 5% is better than zero in terms of people coming into the goddamn protocol. So I don't know why there's. I get it, the purist, but at the end of the day, man, you should embrace it and
Well,
figure out how you can use it towards your benefit. Ordinals, like Bitcoiners, are not. There's still Bitcoin maxis that don't accept ordinals.
well,
Yet
yeah,
ordinals can be a fantastic thing for the Bitcoin network.
sure. There's an argument to be made on both sides there when it comes to Bitcoin, but one of the biggest things that I think realistically, Bitcoin and all of the majors bringing in meme coins and traditional markets are all colliding, and in this transitionary point in time and in history, in terms of the way in which money is utilized and how capital is allocated, how we are going to see things come out the other side of this are going to be very different, I think, than many projected many years ago, right? Because we, it's like those who have been, ringing the bell on, the death of the dollar, which is clearly not happening. And there's some very key points. Anybody that wants to argue that at some point, more than welcome to argue with you about it. But like the
Yeah, bring
dollar
on
isn't
some
going
Bitcoin maxis who keep on telling me that the dollar is dead.
Well, it's not, and I think proof of that is happening right now in real time. As an example, they would frame it in a different way of like, well, it's the death throes. Well, it's actually not, because realistically, even in the way that Bitcoin is used um, outside of the cryptocurrency ecosystems, and even those same maxis themselves, they don't even spend their Bitcoin. They don't even adhere to the ethos that they pitch as Bitcoin is money. So, and the way that the market is viewing it as a store of value, as a collateral asset, is very different than the entire ethos that was pitched for it in the beginning anyway. And you're going to see this actually bleed over to a lot of other cryptocurrencies that people wouldn't expect as base layer tokens, as we see more stables being issued on various networks. You're going to see a lot of it start to act more like a commodity and less like money, because the money will be paired in US dollar pairs. And those stables are going to be used to provide liquidity across all of these blockchains. So,
As long as quantum computing doesn't get us first.
oh boy. Yeah, look. Yeah,
Relax.
I knew you were going to bring it up.
around.
No, I mean,
fucking
the real,
around.
I
know
the
you didn't
only
sleep
reason that
last
it even
night.
pisses me off. So for those that didn't watch yesterday, the only reason that things piss me off about this narrative is that people aren't even identifying what the correct problem is, and they're not even talking about what the actual breakthrough was. That's what's bothering me about the entire conversation, is people are being morons about it and spinning up narratives that aren't even related to the actual really significant breakthrough that was proven in that paper, and then applying a lot of FUD and fear and doubt um, and just BS that is not relevant. And no, you're going to be fine. Your crypto is going to be fine. And things will be worked out well before these very optimistic dates for that hardware
I don't
build
know,
out.
Landy. I'm kind of thinking the math is not working in our favor. That's all. I'm thinking that.
No, the math is actually,
I'm fucking with you. Oh my
I know,
god.
the math
I'm
is
so fucking with you.
actually, you're right in one respect, that the math is now there that does not work in the favor of non quantum resistant protocols. So the math is ready and the hardware is not even close to being ready. It's like starting at 0 and it needs to get to 100. Now it's about arguing about how fast you think you can get to 100. And many are saying 2029. I would argue we're still in that 10 to 20 year time frame. But 2029 is what you should plan for to have things implemented. So I agree with Google. But this is where we're in a changing world. We're in a monetary reordering, and it's not just in fiat systems, right? It's the collision of crypto or blockchain and fiat systems. And it's going to take a while for things to actually settle into a rhythm. And I think the very first thing that needs to happen and will happen is that we will see a massive amount of issuance of stable coins, where stable coins will be the number one market cap in the entire crypto space. That will then help provide liquidity to not only all of the incoming RWAs and stock tokens, but help provide liquidity to Bitcoin, other majors, and then have a knockoff effect on meme coins as well, because people do like to gamble.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, he's still butthurt after yesterday. Landy has broken down.
I can't be butthurt when I know more about this subject than most of the people that are even running companies.
I'm so fucking trolling. Like, yo, I swear to God. Anyway.
No, I'm also trolling a bit here because
no, you're not.
This is funny.
I heard you yesterday. I've never heard you that upset.
Oh, I'm that upset. I am not upset. In fact,
replay the show.
Replay the show. Definitely replay the show. You definitely. By the way,
I said 3 words the entire time. I literally said 3 words the entire time.
Landy sounds like an angel investor.
And with that, guys, Wednesday, which is today, April 1st, and I have an announcement today, by the way. But you can tune in at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune into Landy, market update. He'll break down everything. You got a little piece of, he had a little piece which was like 90 minutes long of Landy breaking down oil, the Dixie, all of this other stuff. Go and check out Landy at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as he breaks down everything in the markets. Really, it's good for you. It's good for you to go ahead and get some value for once, instead of praying to God that your meme token's gonna go up. The shit that you bought last night, or the bunch of shit that you bought with your life savings during the meme scope day, and you got absolutely slaughtered, and your ass is bleeding. So, Landy
is a passive narcissist. Is the funniest thing I've seen in a while. I love it.
Oh boy, some people call me that shit, and I'm like, I am not a narcissist at all, bro. I am definitely not.
Oh,
at least I don't know if I am.
I've got all kinds of tendencies. Look, I'm a Bitcoin first guy, and I've been accused of being a Bitcoin maxi. So you cannot be a maxi unless you're a narcissist.
That's right, Landy and David together. Dandy.
It's just Dandy.
Where the fuck did I get Dandy from? David and Landy together equals fire. That's right. That's right. Because, listen, we like to agitate each other. By the way, again, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Tune in to Dandy.
Also, please send me all the clips of David's wonderful painting of a picture yesterday in everyone's minds. Please send all the clips to Landy, Crypto Landy, Dandy, on X or landy.btc. I actually want those clips because I want to see what you come up with, and so that I can play them here for David, because there's probably some really good ways in which you could cut that up.
Dandy, it is always a pleasure to have you.
Thanks, David.
It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. I'll talk to you later, Dandy.
All right, take care, David. Thanks for having me.
That was Dandy. I mean Landy. Man, oh my god. Oh my god, that was Landy. You you can catch you can go ahead and catch Landy at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as he breaks down the macro, he breaks down the markets with the market update. 9 p.m. again Eastern Standard Time, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Presented to you by the Gokhshtein Network. Shout out to Landy. Landy, honestly, man, low maintenance motherfucker, bro. He just does his thing and goes on to spaces. He goes on to any, he goes on to any channel and he talks about any topic. So shout out to Landy, man. Shout out to fucking Dandy. Okay? Bambi, Dandy, Landy. There you go. I was trying to irritate him though. I'm not LaFront. I was trying to get him under his skin. Because yesterday's the quantum report pissed him off. Like, I know it did. I know 100% it did. I heard it in his voice, man. His voice was cracking. Voice is cracking. Anyway, welcome to the breakdown, episode 693. We're 7 away from 700. Okay, 7 away from 700. If you look at episode 1 until now, I just continue to get better looking. It's just like that is ridiculous. And I think everybody would agree. From episode 1 to almost 700, I mean, I'm actually scared because the government might abduct me and like start looking into my DNA. It is 1:31 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh, wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. We're back, and also this show is sponsored by People's Reserve. Shout out to CJ and that entire team. People's Reserve. By the way, CJ will be speaking at the Bitcoin conference. People's Reserve was built on a simple idea. You shouldn't have to choose between saving your money and using it. Traditional finance forces that trade-off. People's Reserve changes it. By using Bitcoin as collateral, you can unlock liquidity while keeping your long-term savings intact. It's a smarter way to put your money to work in a sound money system. Again, the People's Reserve. Shout out to People's Reserve. Again, catch CJ talking on the main stage at the Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas in April, we're in April, and today's April 1st. Before we get into like politics, because we get into politics. We talk crypto for an hour and change, or I should say Landy talks about crypto for an hour and change while I sit back here attempting to say a word but being shut down. Cause I think Landy, either he pretends he doesn't hear me or his fucking sound system or his fucking headset doesn't fucking hear me talking. So I try to be a gentleman and I just allow him to speak. I really do. I try to be a gentleman and just allow him to fucking talk. All right. You guys know I played hockey. I grew up playing hockey. I was seriously fucking good in hockey. Yes, obviously I'm a Ranger fan. We're suffering right now. Fucking coming in almost at last place and shit. I gotta play this. I gotta play this video because yesterday, I think this is going to, if for any Ranger fans out here, I think this will now change the course. Hold on one second. It's going to change everything, the dynamic of the team. I really believe this. I believe this. Let's go ahead and put this on. Hold on one second. Let me put this on. 1 second. Let me pause this. All right. Igor Shesterkin yesterday. The Rangers, one of the top goalies, if not one of the best goalies in the league, stood up for his team. He said, "Enough is enough. Enough is enough. I'm tired of losing. I am absolutely tired of losing." That, or he went ahead and participated on Monday with the whole meme scope shit, and he lost a bunch of money. Either or, this is what it went down. Rangers versus the Devils. I can't stand the Devils. Fuck the New Jersey Devils. But this is what happened yesterday, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go ahead and share this. Again, I don't know. Maybe he was investing into memes. Something happened here. Okay, something happened here to where he said, "Fuck this." By the way, the Rangers suck this year. Really bad. Well, total ass this year. And I think he was fed up from all sides. So let's go ahead and watch Igor throw down. He beat that kid in the ass. He beat that ass. He beat the hell out of that goddamn goaltender. That's right. Go ahead and watch this. Hold on. Let me put myself in the frame. Beat your ass. That's right. Beat your motherfucking ass. Fuck Jersey. The armpit of America. Nobody cares about you. Here we go. Play this right now. Watch this.
This time goes after one of the Devils. Here comes Markstrom. Markstrom and Shesterkin drop the gloves. Markstrom was not happy that Shesterkin took a shot at one of his teammates. So Markstrom came all the way down the ice, and he and Shesterkin are throwing punches. And Shesterkin
Hit him! Get him!
lands a couple.
Beat his ass!
Down goes Markstrom. Wow! Wow.
Yeah, son.
Holy smokes, this is like the
got
old Ranger
smoked.
Devil games. The goalie's going at it.
We saw it with Vasilevsky.
Igor.
This time goes after one of the Devils. Here
Igor.
comes Markstrom.
Igor!
Markstrom
That's right! Hold on,
and Shesterkin dropped the gloves. Markstrom was not happy that Shesterkin took a shot at one of his teammates. So Markstrom came all the way down the
motherfucker.
ice, and he and Shesterkin.
Hit him. Beat his ass. That's right. Ladies and gentlemen, I played hockey. I played hockey for a decade plus. This is inspiring. When your goaltender comes out and he says, fuck this shit. This entire season, I've been losing. You motherfuckers, I don't know what game you're playing. I'm out here seeing more pucks. I'm seeing more rubber than Bonnie Blue. I gotta do something. I gotta send the message. And then I'm thinking he might have participated in Meme Scope Monday. So a lot of anger here. He got no defense. He's seeing more rubber than Bonnie Blue. And then he went ahead and participated in this whole Meme Scope shit. He's like, fuck this. I'm throwing down. I'm beating asses here. This, ladies and gentlemen, is hockey. This ain't LeBron James flopping when somebody touches him or doesn't even touch him and then he's flopping. This is a sport. This is a fucking sport, ladies and gentlemen, with real men who play with loose teeth or teeth that have been cracked wide open with stitches, with meat hanging out. Not that kind of meat, relax, but meat from their eyes hanging out. Man, I am saying things and not realizing that I'm going to get clipped up. Day 2 of saying something. Jesus Christ. This is a sport. This is a sport. Hockey is a fucking sport. This is a fucking sport. Well, I'm proud of you, Igor, okay? I am proud of you. The Rangers rock. And why am I a Ranger fan? Of course I'm a Ranger fan. Because I bleed red, white, and blue. That's right. The New York Rangers, baby. The New York Rangers, baby. That's right, man. That was a proud moment for me yesterday. So I got an alert on my phone as I was working out yesterday, and it says Igor, goalie fight, and I'm holy shit, goalie fight. This is fucking amazing. I don't watch hockey for the fights. I'm just saying, like when you hear a goalie fight, this shit is amazing. Yeah, a lot more people need to be watching hockey. That's a real fucking sport. Don't listen. Just because we got beef with Canada right now, that's what the elected officials. The people of Canada, most of them are sane, and they have nothing to do with what's going on with their goddamn government. Canada's fucking hockey is a phenomenal sport, man. Players are playing on broken ankles, fractured ankles. They're not They're not missing games. By the way, before I played center and left wing. That's what I played. Left wing and center. Obviously, being 5'10", I needed speed, and that's what I had. I had speed, and stick handling was very good. That's actually the first time when I started playing. When I started playing hockey, obviously in a league, it was the first time that I heard anti-Semitic slurs, but I didn't know what the fuck it was. Like when people were saying things, and like they were saying things towards me, and I didn't know what the fuck they were saying. I came home and I told my mom, I was like, Mom, like this is what like this person said. Do you know what the fuck it means? And she's like, who the fuck said that? She was ready to throw hands. My mom is ready to throw hands. I gotta tell you, like my mom is a hand thrower. She's about that life. She the video you just saw, like I can picture my mom. Like she throws hands. She throws hands, bro. She throws hands. Welcome to the breakdown. Welcome to the breakdown. Episode 693. All right. So we have Trump, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I believe, is he'll be talking to the nation. Hold on, let me get that right. Is it 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? Trump talks to the nation. Obviously, I think it'll be about the rocket that's going to go ahead and do a flyby by the moon. That's really cool. Nobody's talking about it. That's cool. And it's going to be the furthest rocket with a manned crew, right? So that's cool. Furthest rocket that has, in terms of distance, with a manned crew. That's cool. That's absolutely fucking phenomenal. I don't know why we're not talking about that. That's pretty fucking amazing. Hopefully they take some videos and pictures and stuff like that. That's cool. That is fucking cool. It's amazing. Amazing where we're going. I don't understand one thing about text in the room. I don't understand one thing about OpenAI. They keep raising this money, and I saw a report that they raised more money. I think it's like another $822 billion or some shit like that. And that'll only be good enough for them to get by for another 18 months. So like, how is this company going to profit? Like, how are any of these companies going to profit? Is Elon really going to win it? Like win out this whole AI race at the end of the day? Because he said, hey, I'm just going to get all this electricity and energy from putting, solar panels in space and shit. So like, I'm just wondering, like, I'm sitting here wondering, like, so much money is being given to OpenAI, and 18 months, almost $820 billion, only 18 months. That's crazy. That's a lot of money being spent. What's the return on investment? What is the return on investment? Really? Like, if you get $850 billion, like, no return? Might never be a return? It's wild. I don't know. I was thinking about that. I was like, man, AI is in a place right now where it's costing a lot of money. It costs a lot of money right now. Tech is telling me from Tech, who's a monitor on TikTok, is saying that don't fade Google and Gemini. Don't fade the Gemini product. We shall see. We shall see. As for everything that's happening in the country, I'm happy about what Trump is doing. I don't want the United States of America to be a part of NATO anymore. We have been paying the cost to protect Europe for a very long time. This is not about me going far right now and being crazy. No, hear me out, okay? Forget the Republican, forget the fucking Democrat. Forget about all. By the way, I just want to announce today, though. Somebody told me to do this, and I'm definitely not going to do this. I got to hold back. Somebody proposed for me to do something, and I am not going to do it because for a second there, I was about to do it, but then I'm going to get clipped up, and people are going to have clips of this shit, and then people are actually going to believe this shit. So fuck that. Nah, can't do that. I was about to, can't do it. Anyway, speaking about Trump and what he has to say about NATO. Here's what I have to say about NATO. Let's put away our political views, right? Let's put or affiliations. Let's put away the affiliations. Forget about the Democrat Party and the Republicans and the Independents and Libertarians and Green Party, Red Party, whatever party. Okay, forget about all that shit. Why are we paying for NATO? Whether you agree with the war or not, whether you agree with what happened in Iran or not, we are paying so much money that can go towards Americans. We are paying so much money defending Europe. And here you have a bunch of fucking countries that would not allow us to use their base. We didn't even ask them to. It wasn't like we asked them to send their army and military in with us. They should have done that immediately in general, but forget about that. Forget about that part. But to say no to the United States of America, to not allow us to use their bases, these aren't our allies. Like, no, seriously, these are not our allies. They're not. The French aren't. I'm sorry. Like, I know there are a lot of people that tune in from the United Kingdom, from England, to go ahead and watch this show. I love you guys. This has nothing to do with you guys. But obviously, your prime minister is a dick. Here we have this great relationship, but maybe it's not so much of a great relationship. Maybe it's just the media that went ahead and put out this special relationship that we've had with all these fucking countries. Maybe all this stuff ended a long time ago. But to not allow the United States of America to use your bases in this current conflict is so disrespectful. With the amount of money that we've been paying for your defense in Europe to save you against Russia or anybody else is absolutely such a spit in the face. Stop with the Trump this and Trump that. Shut the fuck up. I'm talking about America right now. All right, this has nothing to do with Trump at this point. I don't care if it was Biden in office. You deny us a base, and here we are just printing money and giving it to you guys? And I already have beef that you guys will not take in any of our American products, and here you guys are not allowing our military to land and conduct, not from your airspace, but conduct strikes on Iran, making it easier for them. No, you made it harder for us. Thank God we're capable and we have a stellar army, the greatest army in the world, that we can do anything we want. That's fine, cool. But we saw your faces, Spain, now Italy, which I am disturbed by what happened in Italy. The UK. I'm happy that Donald Trump has exposed our allies, because they haven't been our allies. These are not our allies. Like, seriously, they're not our allies. At a time where we needed them, they weren't there for us. They were not there for us. So why the fuck are we supposed to give them a dime? Why are we supposed let them protect now? Moving forward, if I was the president, I'm telling you right now, if I was the president of the United States of America, I am letting them all know, you can now protect yourselves. I'm pulling out of NATO because it doesn't make sense for the United States of America. I'm pulling out of NATO. God bless you. Have fun. Have fun with Russia. Have fun with China. Have a grand old time. I am not going to go ahead and give you a single fucking dollar. We're out. And I'll use the money to go ahead and prop up the United States of America. That's it. We got Canada, hasn't done shit in terms of partnership. Okay? We've done more for the Canadian fucking economy than anybody else. They're in bed with fucking China. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Like, you think Trump is bad? I am out here telling you live at 9 p.m. on a Wednesday, I will be looking into a goddamn camera from the Oval Office saying, fuck your nation. And I'm going to use the F word too. Fuck your nations. Okay? Goodbye. We're cutting you off. I ain't even taking a phone call. There are no apologies. You spit in my face. You spit in our faces. That's what you did. After everything we've done for you, after protecting all you motherfuckers, after pouring in billions, if not trillions of dollars to protect your asses, the least you could have done, is allowed us to use your bases. That's it. The TDS is so strong for Trump. It's ridiculous that these people have exposed themselves. Look, you think I don't even want to be friends with you guys. Look what you've done to your countries. Your countries don't even look like your countries anymore. If I'm studying history, if I pick up a history book and I study, I read all the time, right? I read all the fucking time. You've seen me throw books up here. I read all the fucking time. If I pick up a history book to read about England, and I look at England's history, and then I look at England today, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm thinking somebody made up this shit. Look at France. France. Who the fuck cares about France? But let me say what they won't say. Let me say what maybe Trump won't. I'm thinking Trump would say anything, but let me say what Trump maybe hasn't said. The French. Who the French? The waivers of the white flag? Who cares? We got an idiot saying that it was an illegal attack on Iran. You're welcome. You know what's going to happen in a few years' time? All you fucking people that have dressed up like Barney or like a cow and you went to do a no protest for no kings or some bullshit like that, you're going to thank the United States of America. You're going to thank Donald Trump and the administration for taking action. That's what you're going to do. You're going to be thankful, whether you like them or not. You're going to be thankful that America took action against Iran and made sure that they could not develop a nuclear weapon. You're going to thank Trump for showing you that Iran was saying that they don't have missiles that can go ahead and reach the UK or the United States of America, only for us to see that they have missiles that can reach the UK and the United States of America. So you're going to thank us for going over and having the fucking balls, to take out a fucking terrorist fucking regime that has killed 30 to 40,000 people, if not more. If not more. In the last 2 months. You're going to thank the United States of America for doing something when it wasn't popular. That's what you're going to do. A decade from now, in the history books, it will be written that while it was not the most popular thing to do, Donald Trump and the administration took action against Iran only to be proven right that they do, and they were trying to build out nuclear weapons, and they had ballistic missiles that could reach the United States of America, that could reach, not only destroy their neighbors, but also reach places like the UK. And speaking of the UK, a country that we thought was our brother, that did not step up to help us. You will thank us in due time. You know what's funny though? I got Democrats now and liberals in my goddamn TikTok fucking stream talking shit. Yet Democrats, your own people, your Democratic Party, has been saying for decades, we must take out Iran. Except that The way you went about it was absolutely moronic. Let's give Iran $18 billion. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the flying fuck? What the fuck? Jesus fucking Christ. And look at you fucking countries that depend on oil coming out of that region. Look at you. At any moment, if Iran would have got them goddamn nukes worked out, and they would have really finished developing all the missiles, you would have been fucked. You would have absolutely been fucked on energy. You would have been absolutely fucked. You're fucked right now. Actually, you're fucked right now. Because we don't need the shit. We don't need it. We don't need to have control of it. We produce enough energy. We don't need. You need it, not us. You can buy from us, or you can buy from them. So, like Trump said, go send your boats over there. Go get your oil. Fuck, at this point, we'd rather be friends with Russia. Honestly. We'd rather be friends with Russia, because then Russia wouldn't be friends with China. If the United States of America was to say, yo, Russia, yo, Putin, listen, давай сядем и поговорим. I'm going to say this again. Давай сядем и поговорим. Давай тут будем дружба именно between us and you. China disappears. Because Russia can't stand the fact that, I said this, I don't know how many times I got to tell you, Russia can't stand the fact that China's buying into their country, buying property in their country. They don't like this. And for those who think, oh, Israel's at fault. Israel forced the United States of America, they forced Trump to go after Iran. Trump has been talking about Iran since he was 41 years old. He's been talking about this subject since he was 41 years old, if not even younger, talking about how Iran needs to be taken out. He's been talking about it for decades. Decades. You think Israel pushed him? No, absolutely not. Israel didn't push him anywhere. This is Trump. Trump ain't playing around. You don't have to like him, but he's doing everything that benefits the United States of America. And you know what? I'm an American, so I want to make sure that the president of the United States of America is looking out for my best interest. Respectfully, as much as I like you, and you might be from, I don't know, you might be from Portugal or Spain. God bless you. I hope you live a great life. I care about the United States of America. At the end of the day, I care, and I want my administration to do what's best for the United States of America. You guys showed your faces. You showed your dislike, okay? I don't want none of your fucking problems. I don't want none of your fucking ideas that you're fucking pushing. You can keep that shit. You can keep that shit in your country. You want to talk about pronouns all day long? Go ahead and do that shit. But get this woke virus out my fucking country. I love when people say Trump didn't think this through, that the administration didn't think this through, even though they've been running tests on this for a long ass time. I don't know what this guy's saying. Giraffe got hacked. I don't know if the giraffe. I don't even know what the fuck. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. They've been running scenarios. The United States Army has been running scenarios for a very long time on how they would take on Iran or any other country. Like, they've been running these simulations for a very long time. So to say that Trump didn't have a plan, you're idiotic. Stop listening to mainstream media. Like, it's bad for you. They sound like a bunch of clowns. Have you seen CNN's panel with Abby Phillips? Do you see how, like, Scott Jenkins just destroys Jennings? Scott Jennings just destroys that panel with facts. And they start getting mad and they start screaming and they start uttering things that don't make sense. Now they're asking me, what's the plan? Are you seriously asking me what's the plan? This girl Josie looks like a liberal. She went marching for No Kings. How did that No Kings thing work out for you guys? You literally had the Gulf states. The Gulf states have come out and stated that, number one, they're in full support of the United States of America. Number two, that Iran has been the worst thing, has been a fucking disease in that fucking region, has done everything possible to fund terrorism, and you guys can still sit here and say, well, I seen the rockets go off, and I seen the rockets hit or come close to hitting bases right by England, and I know that there's information that's come out that supports that they have missiles that can hit America, but what's the plan? Fucking morons. Like, honest, a lot of you guys deserve to, you know what? A lot of you guys deserve to be deported. Like, you deserve to be deported. You really deserve to be deported. Look at our economy. Look at hold on, 1 month, one fucking month where we go to Iran and prices go up a bit here on gas. All of a sudden, look at our economy. The economy's, I don't know. Did you get your tax returns? Did you get your tax returns? Or do you want the Democrats to come back and tax you out the ass? Which one is it? Because the only people that complain, honestly, I'm starting to figure this out. The only people that complain are the people that are on welfare. The 40 million plus people that are on welfare. By the way, a fun stat, 77 million people voted for Donald Trump. Let me say this again. 77 million people voted for Donald Trump. Nobody voted for any of these influencers. Nobody voted for any of these influencers. Nobody voted. Look at you got crazy people like Don Lemon, who's talking about people are telling him he should run for the highest job in the world, and that is to be the president of the United States of America. Is this guy on crack? 77 million people voted for Donald Trump. He's delivered on the border. For some reason, you're you're mad. You're mad. I don't know. I think you guys love. You guys really love when illegals come into this country and take out resources. I think you love this. I'm telling you. You know, a big part of the holy shit. I just came to the light bulb just went off. I know why a lot of you guys don't understand half the shit that I'm saying. And why you hate Trump. You hate it because Trump potentially will have you go back to work. Like Democrats have you on the SNAP benefits and you don't have to do shit. You can sit back here, you can watch me all day long or you can watch at least 2 hours of this show every single day because you don't have work. Yeah, support Israel. Absolutely, I support Israel. You think I'm gonna go with the current rhetoric of I don't support Israel? Do I like? The better question is, do I like Bibi? That's the better question. The question isn't if I support Israel. The question is, do I like Bibi or not? That's what you should be asking. That's a dumbass question. Do you support Israel? A Zionist Jew. What is a Zionist? What is a Zionist? Go ahead. Tell me what a Zionist is. Let's see how smart you are. And don't Google Gemini it. Don't ChatGPT it. Tell me what is a Zionist. No, don't say you are. That idiot. Don't say you are. Tell me what a Zionist is. What is a Zionist? Go ahead. Because 95% of you do not know what the fuck a Zionist is. You just heard it and you repeat it like parakeets. Excuse me, like parrots. Though some parakeets know how to talk. What is a Zionist? So right now, the liberals and the anti-Semites, the only thing they can say back to me is, you are. You are. Do I support Israel? Yeah. Ask me about if I like Bibi or not. That's a different question. Two different things. Your mother's a rat and she should have swallowed you. Okay? That's for you. That's for you, Troll House. Right back at Troll House, whatever your goddamn name is. You're the perfect case for Plan B. Like I've been saying. Perfect case for... I wish Israel would pay me. I wish Israel... All these checks, the $7,000... Whoever's doing the $7,000, please contact me. Okay? If this is real and you're paying $7,000 out, please contact me. Because I'm doing this for free right now. Contact me. When I'm talking about Israel, I'm doing this for free. So contact me. I'll register as a fucking agent too. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together.
Ladies and gentlemen, we all know this in crypto. Ownership matters. That's why Cake Wallet. Cake Wallet gives you full control of your digital assets, all in one easy-to-use application. You can store Bitcoin, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, and many more with just one secure backup. Swap between coins in seconds. No copying addresses, no complicated steps, and even includes Bitcoin Lightning for faster payments. And with Cake Wallet built in, you can use crypto in real life through debit cards or gift cards. Simple, secure, self-custody. Download Cake Wallet and take control of your crypto. We're back on the breakdown, episode 693. You know, when people ask me that, and I'll touch on that topic real quick. You know, when people ask me that question, do you support Israel? Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Yeah, I support Israel. But I don't have to like everything that's being done, but I do support Israel. There's a difference. You see, I'm a normal human being. I'm somebody that can articulate themselves, unlike some here who join my show and start talking out their mouths, because a lot of these people, they just watch things and they repeat it, regurgitate all the shit that's been said out there. But like I said, the better question is to ask me whether or not I think or whether or not I like Bibi. That's really the question. And I can criticize, I've said this before, I can criticize a government, whether it's Israel, Spain, Portugal, it doesn't matter to me. I'm an American citizen. I was born in America. I bleed red, white, and blue. So I don't care. I say what I gotta say. And by the way, I meant that. Like, if Israel's paying $7,000, holler at me. Go ahead, DM me. You can go ahead and DM me, send me an email. Partnerships@gokhshtein.com. There you go. Partnerships@gokhshtein.com. When you say that question to me, whether I support Israel, and then you call me a Zionist and you don't know what a Zionist is, I sit back and I think about this. I see videos out there. You got Marin, whatever his fucking name is. Myron, right? Myron, whatever. I saw a clip of him saying he thinks only 270,000 Jews were murdered by the Nazi regime. 14, if not more, 14, I don't know the exact, I'll ask, but I think it's 14 to 16 people in my family through the bloodline, they were murdered by the Nazis. Nazis came literally to my grandfather's house. They took out his brothers and sisters. They raped his sisters. And then they went ahead and killed him, execution style. And they had to hold his mouth. The people, obviously, he ran into the woods, and they had to hold his mouth from screaming. So when people say like these events didn't happen, that the Nazis were cool, because that's what's happening now. The Nazis are cool. Hitler was misunderstood. All this stuff. I'm watching mental illness play out. I'm watching this narrative being pushed out, and I'm like, man, this is wild. This is wild stuff. To sit back and watch this, it's crazy. It's crazy. See, Base thinks I'm playing the victim card. No, I don't cry about this stuff. I'm a man. I ain't a bitch like you. There's a difference. You're a bitch. I'm a man. And I grew up in a decade where men were men. You grew up in a decade where men are bitches. That's it. You don't lift heavy. You don't even lift. Like, what are we even talking about? Now, you want to ask me about things that are happening within that region? We can talk about that. There's things that I don't like. And I've made my opinions known, where even my own Jewish brothers and sisters don't agree with me. But again, I walk to my own beat. I don't care about mainstream media and what they have to say. I don't care who won't like me after what I have to say. I will live and die with my opinion on certain topics. I'm not a huge fan of Bibi. I'm just not a huge fan of Bibi. Okay? And I've let that be known for a lot of years now. I'm not a huge fan. I want to also know how all October 7th was devastating. I don't know how anybody can support Hamas in general. I just, like a terrorist organization, people are supporting them. I think Hamas has done worse. You know, you guys talk about Israel. Hamas has been horrific towards the Palestinian people, but it is what it is. To me, what the fuck is going on? My dogs are getting angry now. My dogs are getting angry. Anyway, I like to see peace in that region. And like I've said many times before, I hope that there comes a day where we have younger people running the country and they come to the table and they figure it out. That's what I hope. One day that there is actual peace. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm hoping for. Hold on, let me see what the fuck has happened. I'll be right back.
What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the challenge. For blockchains to really change the world, they also have to be able to protect our sensitive data when it matters. And that's why we built Midnight, to bring down the final barrier to mass adoption and unlock the full potential of the decentralized web. Let's build the internet we deserve, together. What first got you excited about blockchains? Think about it. Oh wait. I bet it wasn't multi-million-dollar hacks, exposed data, or finding somewhere safe to store your seed phrase. Was it? Maybe it was the idea of decentralizing a broken financial system. Maybe it was imagining a world where people own their own data and get to sharing the value it creates. Or maybe it was the promise of a fundamentally better way of connecting, communicating, and transacting. The next phase of the internet that empowers us instead of exploiting us. So why hasn't that happened yet? Why are we still living with the same broken system that blockchains promise to fix? It's because blockchains can't keep a secret. Enabling open, transparent systems was only the first half of the
Hi, welcome back. And good, it gave me some time to cool down. Because I am passionate about these things. I really am passionate about all these topics that we talk about. You know, I'm anti-war. I've said this so many times. I am anti-war. War is the last resort. It's sad that you have these conflicts. The Middle East has had a conflict forever, forever. And I hope that the people in that region can live peacefully, because that's the ultimate goal. Like a lot of these people, I read a lot of this stuff that's put out there on social media, videos that are put out there. Nobody's really talking about peace. Everybody's talking about violence. There's never a solution though. Like how do we get cousins to sit down and just, make amends and live peacefully next to each other? That's the ultimate solution. It's about peace. But like you have a bunch of people that don't care. They don't care. This is just like, hey, how can I rage bait? Hey, how can I get clicks and likes and all? There's if you really sit back for a second and think about who out of all these influencers that took all this good stuff and all this good game, right? Who has actually put together a plan and said, you know what, how can we get these two cultures to live peacefully? Not a single one. Not a single. I haven't seen it. You know why? Because that doesn't benefit anybody. People do not benefit when people come together and unite together. Like I've said this before, a United States is bad because that means that you can't control the people of the United States. A divided United States of America is what you see today. That's how you control the population when they're divided. So yeah, I would ultimately love to see peace. Ultimately love to see peace. I would love to. I hate war. I hate conflict. I really do. As a human being, I hate conflict. And I think a lot of this stuff can get done at the table. But there are some people that refuse to come to the table. There are just people that refuse to come to the table, and it is what it is. You can't do nothing about it. You just absolutely can't do anything about it. Maybe one day you will have unifiers, not just in America, in the Middle East. Maybe you'll have unifiers that will try their hardest to bring people together, regardless of their race, regardless of religion. That's what you're looking for. That's what you're looking for. This whole thing about which team are you on? Do you support this? That yeah, you're not going to get me to say that I don't support something. Like I'm not scared of you. Like that's one thing. The only person that I fear is God, not you. Okay? Period. So I will say what the fuck I want to say. That's it. Like I will never back away from saying what I fucking feel. Bottom line. I care about human life. I 100% care about human life. I'm anti-war. I don't know how many times I have to say that, but I'm anti-war. I'd love to see our country come together. Love to see our country come together. You know, I talk the way I talk, but at the end of the day, I would be more of a unifier. I say this, like I think I could be more of a unifier, but I would have an iron fist when it comes to situations like currently that we see with NATO. I wouldn't let that play out. I'm not paying trillions of dollars to protect Europe when they're not protecting us. I'm sorry, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. That's bad business. That is absolutely bad business. We protect them, they won't protect us. That's bad business. We can't do that kind of business. We got to cut ties. We got to find other ways to go ahead and, come together with countries that want to work with us, not against us. I don't like half of this stuff that's happening now. You guys already know my feelings on a lot of the things that have been happening. This woke shit that's been pushed on us, the pronoun shit, all the kids being mutilated. Like, I don't like any of this stuff. And I don't know how I don't know how as a human being you can go ahead and sit there and justify any of these things that have been happening. So yes, Donald Trump, you can say whatever the fuck you want to say, but he's brought back common sense, and I like common sense. I grew up on common sense. What we have for the last 12 years on the Biden and fucking Obama, that wasn't common sense. Even Obama said, we can't go too left or we'll lose the country. Well, there you go. You lost the country. And those are Obama's words. Those are not my words. Those are Obama's words. Okay. Those were Obama's words. Why are we funding? Why will we ever fund a terrorist organization like their Iranian regime? Why will we ever give them $18 billion and trust that they would actually not build a nuclear weapon? That's craziness. That's absolutely crazy shit. Crazy. Absolutely nuts. So, yeah, those are my thoughts. And no, Israel doesn't pay me. Last time I checked, Israel doesn't pay me. And I don't think they would pay me because, again, I don't agree with everything. I'm an American. I am an American. That's it. Like, I am a proud American. Born and raised in America. I love America. And it's America first for me, but not the America first that you see out here with Tucker and all these guys. I'm talking about it's America first for me. Like, how do we make things better here? I don't believe in the AIPAC situation where people talking about AIPAC and all this. AIPAC makes, it's a tiny fraction, little tiny fraction, and they have no say. They're not doing anything. They're not doing anything outside the United States of America. They're not putting, Trump did not wake up and be forced by Bibi to go ahead and get into a war with Iran. Did Bibi want to go to war with Iran? Yeah, 100%. But Trump went to war with Iran because he got intelligence stating that Iran is very close to developing a system to where you will not come close to them. Just like Marco Rubio said yesterday, that they were close to building out a goddamn missile stockpile to the point where you would not be able to enter Iran. That's basically it. If you want to know my thoughts, those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts on that topic. You guys are sheep. A lot of you guys are sheep. You're watching things. You're being influenced. Like somebody can say that about my show, right? Somebody can say the same thing about my show. But at the end of the day, I'm just giving you my opinion. You decide whether or not this shit fits you. Like I see the world differently. Okay. Some people will say that they don't agree with me. They believe in pronouns. They believe that 10,000 pronouns should exist. I don't believe that we should have more than 2. That's it. And we're going to disagree. We're going to disagree all day long. When I watch people say 2 + 2 = 5, I lose my mind. I lose my mind. It's crazy. It's crazy. Divided we are, though. We are divided. We are 100% divided. This country is absolutely divided, and maybe in the next decade or two that'll change, but it is insane. Like I'm sorry. Like if you can't see like some of the insanity that's going on, like even I see some bros in crypto, right? I went ahead and made a post yesterday about what's going to be the next Pepe, and what I meant by that is not something that replaces Pepe. What's going to kickstart the meme economy again? Like Pepe did during like the worst bear market, worst time in the bear market. What's the next Pepe to do that? So it could be Pepe, it could be Dogecoin, it could be anything that we have right now. It was just a question. And you had people, it's funny, you had people jump in. They took that post completely out of context, started fucking crying. But then, see, Trump's in office. Remember when Biden was in office? Crypto was so much better. What are you talking about? You're talking about like when they printed money because of COVID? Is that what you're talking about? In the beginning, when Biden took over? Because after that, all they were doing was destroying crypto for retail. They weren't letting retail participate in the markets at all, whether it's crypto, whether it was traditional markets. Where exactly did Biden help you? He didn't. You all round tripped. Number one, if you guys didn't round trip, you guys never even had a chance. And they kicked this goddamn fucking administration, the Biden administration, kicked out. And when I mean kicked out, they forced people to leave the United States of America because they couldn't build here. They didn't know how to build here. And then you had Coinbase and fucking Ripple who spent billions of dollars fighting for the crypto space. Billions of dollars were spent fighting for the crypto space. When billions of dollars shouldn't have been spent, billions of dollars were spent to fight. And if I don't know if they would have lost. Now we have a friendly SEC. We got a friendly CFTC. We got a bill that's trying to pass in Congress, the Clarity Act, Genius Acts. Hopefully they start figuring out how to classify crypto and classify it as a cryptocurrency, so we're not taxed on every goddamn purchase. But that's happening now. Like that is literally happening now. So as a crypto bro, 50 million plus people in the United States of America have crypto. How could you want to have a Democrat in office? They don't care about crypto. They don't want you to have. They believe, and this has been stated publicly, Democrats believe they should be telling you what you should be doing with your money. I want to do whatever the fuck I want with my money, and I'm okay with whatever happens. See, here's the fucking problem. They allow people to go into a casino. So it's okay for people to go into a casino take their 401k and lose it on within the first 2 hours that they're sitting at a blackjack table. But it's not okay for me to take my money and invest it into the traditional markets or being able to participate in early IPOs or go into crypto. Think about that for a second. Here's Trump saying, I want to open up the markets for everybody. And somehow you're mad about that. And I still don't get it. Biden and Obama did everything possible to restrict you from participating in the markets, restrict you from changing your life. And some people would say, well, David, you could have changed your life, change your life. It can go either way. But at least you have an opportunity. It's America, right? Land of opportunity. Why am I being denied? Why am I being treated like a child? You're telling me what I could do with my hard-earned money? That's the problem. That's the problem. By the way, I think I got limited again just now. I got to look. Hold on. Ah, man, the limitations, bro. TikTok, man. TikTok. TikTok, motherfucker, TikTok. Hold on. Let's look at TikTok. Let's see what I did now. Let's see what they hit me with now. Let's see. I think so. I think so. I don't know. What happened? Somebody said, what happened to your 1 million meme challenge? It's still going. I'm still going. I'm still going with the meme challenge. I'm still going with the meme challenge. I will go ahead and hit $1 million trading memes. I haven't really posted anything. Like, I haven't even really talked about anything. You guys, anybody who tunes into my show knows that I talk about it, but I haven't really told anybody on X. There's people that don't tune into my show. There's people that don't watch me. That's fine. I don't really care about that. I did get restricted on TikTok. I did get the live restriction visibility. It's all because of Tech and Fran and Jessica that happened. It's disappointing. I'm thinking about. I was just kidding, by the way, guys. I'm not kidding about being restricted, but I'm kidding about you guys. Anyway, it is 2:37 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Guys, don't ask me about memes. Let me say this. Don't ask me about anything. You know why? Because if you guys really wanted to go ahead and rally behind something, then you would go ahead. You would rally. Okay. I've gone into Devious. I've gone into Flork. Like, I'm still holding it. If you really wanted it, you'd be obsessed. But you're not. You may a lot. You know, a lot of people want to make a quick buck on me. That's what it is. A lot of people want me to say something so they can make a quick fucking $3. I'm not allowing you to go ahead and degrade my brand. Like, it's not gonna happen. But I will get to. I will continue to do this challenge, and I will get there. If it's not tomorrow, it'll be a month from now. If not a month, maybe 6 months from now. Whatever it is, I will do it. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Jessica, I was kidding, man. Relax. I was kidding. I was kidding. Anyway. Should I read a quote before I go? I went off today. I went off. By the way, Iran's president, in a letter to the American people, states Iran harbors no animosity towards ordinary Americans. Donald Trump this just came out. Donald Trump is throwing threats out there to stop supplying weapons to Ukraine in order to pressure European allies militarily to reopen. And this is going to get wild, man. This is going to get wild. B2C2, backed by SBI Holdings, selects Solana as the primary network for institutional stablecoin settlement. Wow. That's news, man. Wow. The UK officials just came out like I give a fuck. UK officials came out and they stated that they can no longer trust the United States counterparts with sensitive material. Wow. Wow. Everybody's like, why am I silent? Boys and girls, let me read a quote and then I'll be on my way because I want to go ahead and I have work to do. I do have work. Besides this, obviously, I do have work. Let's go ahead and let's get a quote. Let's get a quote here. Let's get a quote. I follow some people. I don't even know who the fucking people are. What am I watching here? What the fuck am I watching here? Okay. Where the hell is the quotes? My God, I can't find the goddamn quote. Oh. This is probably the quietest I've ever been in my life. This is probably the quietest I've ever been on the show. Let's see it. All right, this is cool. This is cool. Ready? And I'm out on this one. I love you guys. I want to say thank you very much for tuning in to the show. I appreciate you guys. 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm 44 minutes over. Okay, we talked about crypto. We talked about traditional markets. We talked about oil, the Dixie. I went ahead and got on Dandy, aka Landy's nerves today. And then we talked about, obviously, politics. I touched on politics. I touched on the case on why we should leave NATO. The United States needs to leave NATO because it doesn't benefit us at all to spend that kind of money and to get the respect that we get from these countries, our allies. So so-called allies give us absolutely no respect. They spit in our faces. So fuck that, okay? Forget everybody. Let's pull the fuck out. Let's reassess who we need to go ahead and be partners with, allies with for the future. And I think Trump has done that. I think he's reassessed the chessboard here. Okay, I think that's what he's done. He's reassessing who our partners are. Okay, and he's going about business correct. I think this is the correct way to do it. It really is. All they have ever done, these allies recently for the last decade, is complain, and not paid their part. So besides complaining, they haven't paid their piece. Okay. They haven't paid their invoices, so fuck them. Okay? Let's put it like that. You're getting free support from the United States of America, and you're going to go ahead and yap the entire time and do and not even pay. Not even pay. Here's the quote of the day. If you look at the people in your circle and you don't feel inspired, then you don't have a circle, you have a cage. That was good. 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 All right, we'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow, and we have an exciting month coming. DG brand is doing well. Gokhshtein brand is coming back. More on that during this month. I want to so bad just show you guys what is being worked on, but I can't. I'm not allowed to. So, thank you to Tech and Fran on the TikTok side. Thank you to everybody who's tuned in from Twitter. Thank you for everybody who's tuned in on Getter and wherever else you're tuning in from. Thank you very much. Working on some really cool stuff to go ahead and expand the brand. Been having multiple conversations about expanding the brand. So I'm really excited. I really am excited. And I'm not kidding when I say that I'm one day going to run for the highest seat in the land. I'm not kidding. I think I'd make a great president. I really do. I think I would make a great president, and I think I'd get shit done. And I have wonderful black hair, and I look really good. I'm just saying. I fit the part. I speak well. I speak other languages. I think it would help. Anyway, до свидания. Я ухожу. Я иду работать. Это работа, я иду работать. У меня еще работа есть. Закончится. Потом я выйду на улицу. Пойду на улицу. Сегодня хорошая погода. Я выйду на улицу. Пойду загорать. Да я завтра сюда приду делать the next episode. I'll have a little bit color to me. There you go. There you go. Ben aqui. On that note, I'm out.